All right. So you guys ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready to go.
All right, let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Lone Wolf Podcast. I'm your host, Wolfson, and today we got a special guest in the building. We just recently met through the great pages of Instagram, where mostly all my guests are currently I'm meeting over. I don't know. I like Instagram now because now I can get a lot of people to come over to my show. But I just recently met these guys over and I decided let's bring them over because they got lots of things to talk about in the table, which we are going to be discussed. Please say hello and welcome Underground Wubbs, right?
Yeah, Underground Wubz.
That's it.
What's going on?
Having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
First things first, guys. Before we get even further into the deeps in the conversations, give us a little bit introduction about yourselves. What's your name? What do you guys do? And what's this mission that we're gonna be taking care of?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Chris. I'm from Boca Raton, born and raised from Florida. Like the owner of Underground Wubz is my partner, Laurencio.
My name's Laurencio. I'm also born and raised in South Florida. And we're just here to we want to express ourselves in a way. And by doing this, we're doing shows.
Oh, shit. Yeah. What kind of weird shows we're talking about?
Yeah, so we do, right now we have two different types of shows that we run. We run like a rhythm, bass, and experimental shows in Boca. And then we also have another Boca location where we do house shows, house and techno.
Really? So you guys are actually festival runners, event planners?
Yeah, so basically, we basically like to set up our own events and curate events with a lot of like local artists, local venues, and it's just like all about the local scene, helping out like local people.
Very community based.
I love it. That's what it's all about, man. It's funny. Like I haven't heard from you guys in my years that I've worked before in the music industry. This is like the first time I've seen you guys, and now when I check on your social media, it's like I'm seeing that you guys are working with my previous employers, with Lucho and Pepe, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys are actually moving around. That's what's up.
Yeah, so we actually started in February was our first show. We had some of the Wubbaholics guys come out and did it. I'm like good friends with Reginald Simpson and Tate B, known them from way back when. We did it in February, and since then we've just been pumping shows.
And what actually got you guys started to say let's just start our own shows, let's just do this and that? Like why actually inclined you and prompted you guys to start all this shindig?
I would say honestly, it's just like the love of the music, the love of the scene. Like the people in the scene, the EDM scene, are just like super awesome people. I have a lot of friends. Like you actually had him on your show, Goon. How I heard about you.
Yeah, shout out to our boy Goon, man.
Yeah, shout out to Goon. I actually went to high school with him.
Oh, really?
I used to like throw house parties back in the day, and he used to be my designated DJ for all my shows.
Oh.
And so that's how we originally I got into it. And then from festivals, I go to a ton of festivals, and I just love the scene, love the music, love the people. So why not do it? Especially with COVID. After everything happened with COVID, there was no music, no nothing. So we were like, why not build that up here in Boca, because we're based out of the Boca Raton area.
Yeah, and there's really not a scene as of now. Like we kind of brought that. We're bringing this industry to local venues, and we're kind of getting publicized by DJs and stuff. So it's really cool.
That's actually pretty cool because as far as I concerned, when I used to work for Lucho and Pepe, there weren't that many shows out past Miami that involves more of the underground scene in the sense of dubstep and the bass music community overall. It was mostly the closest thing we've ever done was Pompano Club Cinema. That's literally that's literally the closest thing we've ever done for bass music, because anything else we'll just slap it all into space or heart if we can put it over there. But anything outside of that, we barely done it, and we don't know whether there were any bass hits in that area where you guys are in Boca that actually flew down to go to any of these shows, So it's actually pretty cool that you guys actually started out your own company and started doing all these, bass shows and working along with these people,
Yeah, and it's the thing is where we are over here, it's we're in that situation where we're far enough. We're far enough from Miami where it is a little bit of a drive, and we're far enough from West Palm where it is still a little bit of a drive. But the community here for bass music is huge. There's a lot of artists that come from our area that love bass.
Yeah.
And that's, I would say bass, honestly, in the Palm Beach area is bigger than the house scene. in this area.
And it's a real beautiful thing to see it all be put together and to bring out the community and the local vendors and have the local artists. It's just a beautiful scene. It's very close knit and very like community based, like I said.
That's pretty dope, man. And how long did this whole community like started out? Like, how do you know that there's actually a lot of talent here, a lot of people who are actually into bass music and they want to go in, they don't want to drive all the way to Miami? How do you guys figure that out? Well, like, where did it all go down?
I mean, honestly, I would say it comes down to like our friend group. Like, you know, like our friend group, my friend group, like we all love to go to festivals. They're all like bass heads. They all go to like Wakan. They travel to go see these shows. They're always down in Miami all the time. So I said, so like we talked about it, and it's like, why not bring that type of energy closer to home? And plus, the Forbidden Kingdom was in Boca Raton, and that did, you know,
no doubt,
that was great. Everybody loved that. So
that was actually, you know, one of the dopest festivals I've ever seen. I wish I could be part of it, but I actually experienced it from far away, and it was like, wow, Forbidden Kingdom was just nuts when it was in that amphitheater, right there in Boca, right?
Yes. Yeah. Sunset Cove.
Sunset Cove. That was the name I was trying to think of. You know, that was like the first time that it got announced. It was actually pretty dope. It was like around that time in which I decided like to quit, or not quit, but put myself at hiatus with music. Because at that point I was just like pressuring myself, not doing stuff that I wanted. So I have to like step aside for a moment and let me refocus myself and refocus like, what is it do I want to be part of this industry in some shape or way, you know? And then I got into podcasting. And then podcasting has been the happiest thing I've ever done in my life, you know? And I decided that as soon as I start doing podcasting, man, I want to bring everybody into my show. And when I say everybody, I want every fucking body, you know? I don't care whether you're big or small. Could care less. All I want is for you to come over and share your story, you know, because there's a lot of stories out there that I'm so happy that we can share some similarities, you know, but at the same time, it's like unfortunate that we do share those similarities because it's funny how the music industry really works when it comes to talent, because talent only comes out when you are not actually talented. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, because like if you meet like people like Goon and the other peoples that I interview with like recently, like the Dream Takers, Plasma, and just recently I just interviewed Vats. Like those guys, I've listened to their music, and Plasma is sick as shit. You know, shout out to him. And then I listened to Goon's music and Dream Takers and Vats. And not too long ago, Lost Chameleon. He's from Greece. Wow. Like I'm literally looking at hidden talents. Like I'm trying to find diamonds within the hidden rocks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like that's the thing here with like South Florida. There's so many diamonds in the rough down here.
Yes.
Like we have so many like talented artists and producers that like live down here. And I feel like here it's just very difficult for a lot of people to get into the scene. You know, I feel like there's a lot of, it's like very kind of like who you know and how many tickets you can sell type of deal, you know?
Yeah, seriously.
Which is something that I saw within my own, you know, with the artists that I've been friends with, you know, for so long. Like they would all go through that trouble. And like what we wanted to do was create a place where it's like, okay, you don't have tons of followers, you don't have a big following, but you make good music and you know how to play. Like I want to give you that opportunity to play. I want to let you play your style of music, whatever that may be. I don't want to hinder you and say, oh, you have to be specifically one thing or another. It's like, no, you're the artist. Go up there, play your music, play what you feel like can make the crowd go wild. You know, and
they do an excellent job. You know, I've seen some of these DJs will totally captivate some of our audiences, and like everyone's just jamming. So it's a very cool thing to be able to put that together.
I commend you guys for doing stuff like that. See, it's because like people like you guys is where I fuck with, you know, because I had so many hardships when I was trying to come up, man. It's not easy, bro. And I've seen a lot of up and comers some of them are actually making the same mistakes that they're doing. And I'm trying to persuade them as much as possible, because it sucks the fact that, you know, the only way for us to learn how to get into the industry is when we make all these sort of mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's literally nobody up there like that made it or is like stable up there that will tell you or show you the ropes. They will never help you do that. In fact, they will just probably use you or worse, they'll just see you as a competition and they will not help you, and they'll just tell you like, dude, just figure it out. I figured it out by my own, so figure it out yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's how the industry is, you know. People are very self-motivated just for themselves, you know, like selfish, better off to say. So 100%, but we don't try to do that. Like our whole thing is like, we're like really just like our like slogan is support your locals. Like that's our thing. Like it's all about the locals, starting from our venues to like the DJs that we put on to the vendors that we get to come and sell at our shows. It's all about just helping the community and like the local scene itself. You know, with any competition, we have competition in this area too that are starting to do bass shows, but we work with them because it's not an
us versus you.
Yeah,
it's like
that's actually pretty cool because for many event planners or promoting companies, they see each other and they try to compete with each other because they see who does the best shows, you see who does the best pulls, and the way you guys are approaching it is very intriguing because you guys actually do it for the community. You say like, no, let's not work against each other. In fact, let's work along. Let's make money together. Let's have great vibes together. Let's just do this. Let's just be big together, you know? So it's very cool that I'm seeing for you
bring our
guys.
People together.
Yeah. I like the way that you guys are approaching the industry, you know, because like I said earlier, not many people do this shit, you know? I don't see that many promoters out there or event planners per se that actually help out the next generation, in a sense, like the next up and comers, the next people that want to be part of it, that, you know, or enjoy their lives by just like, I don't see that often. And it says, because then people like us, we gotta be out there publicly and tell them like, go guys, it's okay, we can work together. This is all the things that you gotta do, and that's it. Let's do it, you know. Whereas,
why not make life easier? You know,
Absolutely.
Why try to butt heads when you can collaborate and make something that's worth it? At the end of the day, like for our shows and just like anybody's shows, you're trying to put on a good show, something that captivates people. It's like, why do we have to try to butt heads and see who can do the biggest thing why don't we work together to try to make something that's big, or stop not to compete, just to work together, collaborate on an event, you know?
And I commend you guys for doing that, guys. You know, keep doing that type of stuff because that's actually what changes the industry one day at a time, you know? Obviously, we're not trying to revolutionize, you know, form a revolution and change the whole narrative of the music industry. The music industry is going to be like that. There's no way to change it out of it. But we can make it a much more safer and much more exciting environment and community for those who actually want to be part of it. You know, it only starts with these one little steps. Yes, it's one step with too many steps backwards, but it's still one step forward, you know? And this is what we're trying to do. You know, we're trying to bring people together. We're trying to expose people, expose this talent that we have here that's been undervalued, underused, and not be recognized, because most of the time people only see the people who are talentless, who has only the social media pulls, you know, who brings all the money to pay for their slots, you know, like people only see those guys, the guys that are louder than the talented, you know, and that's where I gotta, you know, put my foot down and be like, yo, chill the fuck down. No. You ain't talented as nothing. Like, these guys are the real heroes, you know? These guys are talented, guys. Like, look at this music. Look at this. I can only do so much, you know? I can only just like, hey, guys, these are the people that I'm listening to. These guys are dope. I can only do so much, you know? I cannot make miracles, but at least I'm doing my part to say, like, I'm trying to help you as much as I can and just expose you as much as I can, you know?
Yeah, and you know what they say, you know, even throwing a small pebble into a lake makes a big ripple effect.
Yeah.
So even the smallest of things can be very huge, you know, for anybody that's involved. And that's why we try to do it. So it's like these people that have the talent, like you can play in front of people and do what you want. And that little ripple effect, you know, could create a fan base from there. You know, you play at our show and now you have a small following that wants to come see, you know, and that's what it's all about. Just the little bits.
Just little by little, guys, you know. And yeah, that's all we can do right now to just to support our locals. And I like the way you guys are doing it, you know. But let me ask you guys, like, how did this all started down and decided to, like, I just want to be part of the music industry in some shape of way, you know. I don't want to be just a raver. I want to be a part of this. I want this to be one of my living things, you know.
Okay, so that came to me at Okeechobee. Right before the pandemic. I remember it was like I was standing there at Okeechobee and I was looking at the stage where LS Dream was playing, and I was standing there and I was like, man, I want to do this one day. Like, I want this to be like my life. I want to be able to coordinate this, like throw an event where like the energy is like immaculate. I would say Oki was one of my favorite festivals I've ever went to.
It's my favorite festival.
It was just like the energy there, the way that they had it set up, the immersion that you get from like walking through the festival grounds.
Right.
I was like, man, like everyone, I had a great time. All my friends did, and I was like, I wish that I could do this or somehow get myself involved. And then the pandemic hit, where you know, everything closed down, no more shows, no more anything. There was a small bar that like is near my school at FAU, and I would go in there a lot. Just so happened to meet the owner at the time, and this was around February-ish, beginning January actually, beginning of January, and we were talking, and I was telling him, you know, I love your place that you have. It's right next to FAU. I know a couple people that are in the music scene that, you know, play dubstep and, you know, rhythm and that style of music. I was like, it's a little bit different than your typical college type of stuff that you want to do, but we would love to, you know, try to build something here and let it happen. And he was like, absolutely. You guys can just bring your equipment and set up your stuff, and we'll make some shows happen.
Oh, damn! So you guys already had your own equipment?
Yeah. So we actually, funny story about that. So the first show that we ever did, I didn't have any equipment. I just was talking to this guy sitting at a bar drinking, and I was just like, you know, I'll see if he says yes, see if he says no, just to say fucking and try it. And I get the yes from him. So I booked like a couple artists that I just knew that said that they would be down to do it. 2 days before the event, I was going to use the equipment that they had because they do bands there and stuff. So we're going to use like some band speakers. I was going to use a table that they had from the bar for like the DJ equipment that we were going to bring. Luckily, I met this artist. His name is Rocket. If you haven't heard of him, he's doing shows in like Treehouse and stuff. Blowing up, good guy. Shout out to Rocket.
Great music.
Yeah, great music.
For sure.
He was the one who actually came to me and was like, "Hey, man, I have some stuff that we can like put together for the show. If you want to work together, and we can like really like hone this thing in." And then from there, it's been a wrap. We've just been working together, just throwing these shows.
Damn. So you guys have been literally just started this year with all these shows then?
Yeah, this year. This is the start, yeah.
Wow, how many shows you've done up till now?
We're at, I think we're coming on 16 and 17.
Yeah, I think the 10th will be the 17th.
Yeah, the 10th is going to be our 17th show that we've done.
God damn, that's what's up. 17 shows in less than a year? Damn, guys, congratulations on that. Not many people actually can successfully do that many shows in the span of less than a year. That's actually incredible, guys. And the fact that you're actually still coming in even more, that just shows you like the potential and power that you guys hold within your own grasp. And now you can, you know, just fuck this shit up even further beyond, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's just like we're getting a lot of love from like the people that come to our show. Like we're really building up a community. We just got tagged, was it 2 days ago? Somebody put our stickers all over Zoomies, and Zoomies West Palm Beach even tagged us on it. So a lot of love from like the locals over here. I'll tell you that. The bass scene here is real.
Yeah, and that's like a huge motivation factor, is because like we'll throw a show and then we'll have like this group of people who want to know when the next show is. And then it's just such a like, I don't know. I just love the feeling of providing something that people like look forward to and they want to enjoy. You know, it's kind of bringing that live music experience where people are walking around with pashminas and rave wear and everyone's like positive vibes. It's just a cool thing. And then, so I think that's a huge motivational for us.
That's pretty dope, man. So when is the next following shows that you got planned? I know that I saw something that you guys got planned in the future, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so we have a show set up coming this Saturday at Shisha House in Boca Raton. That's going to be a house show. We got some like great house artists playing down for that, and then we have another show planned out for. It's still in the works right now, but I think it's gonna be for the 19th of September. We're gonna have another bass show ready with some heavy hitters also.
Oh, we're bringing heavy hitters, not just locals. We're bringing heavy hitters.
Let's just say some local heavy hitters.
Oh, okay.
I can't say too much. We're trying to be discreet right now.
Hey, man, that's fine. As long as we got something planned in the works, man. Hey, I'm all for it. Let's go. Let's go. Damn. All right. So that's what's up, bro. So let me get this. What goes actually behind the scenes in these shows? You know, what actually happens during all these planning and festing and all that stuff? Like, what goes through your heads? What are you guys are doing before, during, and after a show or festival?
Yeah, absolutely. So he'll talk to you about all the vendors and everything else when it comes to that. He's like takes control of all the vendors. He also has his own crystal shop that sells within our events that we do. What I do is I mostly manage, making sure that we have audio and visuals set up for the events, making sure that we have everything, booking artists, and just making sure that everybody's time is work with everybody, and getting the security in there, running the door, and just, making sure that everybody feels at home. Like we walk around, like you'll see me always walking around the event, just talking to people, just making sure that everyone's in that, like, in a good mood and content to be there, and just working with the artists to make sure that they're set up for a good show as well, And then if you want to go over the vendors.
Yeah, so not only with throwing a show, we're kind of creating an experience or like a vibe. So what I do is I own a crystal business called One Love Crystals. And so I'm always at flea markets and green markets, and we do like local events from like Miami to Palm Beach. And so I meet vendors that would like to come vend at our show. And so we'll have people selling pins, me with the crystals. We also have a couple more like streetwear and clothes and like apparel, like rave stuff. And I think that really brings the whole event together. People like not only with the live music, but there's also live vendors, so people can come shop, and it's all like handmade stuff and organic stuff that's being sold. So it's just it's an all around vibe. And
we've worked with like flow artists too, to have like fire spinners at our shows, and just glovers in general. That's always welcome.
That's dope. So I got a lot of questions to ask you guys, because like now you just like open up more doors for me. And so the thing about my podcast, I'll tell you this little brief and I'll ask you some of these questions. So if you guys aren't aware what my podcast goal is, basically my podcast is letting the whole world and share what it was my experience within the music industry, all the hardships, all the come-ups, all the stuff that I had to do, and of course, exposing some little truths behind it, letting know how record labels work, how emails work, how the A&Rs work, how festivals work, how promoters work, how artists work, and such and such. So I basically tell people, like, this is all the stuff that goes around when it comes to doing this, and that. And I try to guide people as much as possible to not make the mistakes that I've committed or others committed. A wise man learns from his own mistakes. A wiser man learns from other people's mistakes. So,
very true.
So basically, I'm just like giving them a little guidance, a little, letting them know, it's like, hey, if you're gonna do this, try to do this, and that. Don't do this and that, because this is what's gonna happen, and this is gonna be the outcome. Like, I can foresee it already, and it's because I've already experienced it. Whether it's me or my homies, they're still out there killing it, or they're trying to kill it. I've seen it all. Like, I got to the point that like there's nothing that will surprise me within the industry. So I try to come over here and try to tell everybody my side of the story, my homie side of the story, and all the guests' side of the story, because people need to know, like, hey, guys, like, don't take it from me. Take it from the people that I'm interviewing. Take it from my guests. They're telling you how shit really does. So with that in mind, you guys are actually the first festival runners and vendors that I'm interviewing in my show. So now I'm gonna actually, ask you guys a little bit about how how shit runs down when it comes to being a festival runner and a vendor, because I'm pretty sure that you guys are not the only ones out there in the world who's trying to do this shindig that you guys are doing. You know, try to be part of something, being an event planner of sorts. You know, and try to build a sort of community, or try to build, you know, a company or organization. You know, to bring out more music. You know, try to be the next Insomniac or Tomorrowland or Ultra or shit like that. You know, who knows? You know. So I'm gonna ask you guys a little bit of questions, so you guys can you guys are feel free to answer. If you guys feel like, nah, we don't want to give that much information, that's fine. You don't need to answer it. We could just omit to the next question. So as a festival runner, there's a lot of roles that you play as a festival. First things first, how do you get in contact of finding the venue? And how do you actually separate, like, you know, let's separate this venue and let me put a deposit. How do you get that money?
So see, like the lucky thing about how we've done it, I mean, I guess up until this point, it's just been word of mouth and just like talking to people. Like we haven't gotten to the point yet, at least with our business, that we put the money into getting a deposit into a place. We're actually, like, how we've done it with these last few places, we went into them saying more of, we're a service. We pitch it more of like a service to these, like, for these businesses. So we go to like smaller bars, and we go to smaller like hookah places and lounges where people like tend to sit and drink or like just relax. And we go in there and we tell them, okay, so your place, we can bring in a guaranteed 100 people, 150 people, and they'll come and they'll spend drinks and they'll do everything. We just want to get your space. We want to get the door, cover from door. And then if they have a bar, we want 10% off the bar cuts. If it's like a dead bar and then we know it's like failing or whatever, that's what we think is fair, since we're going to bring the promotional team to come take your videos for you, not just the venue, but for the artists. We're going to bring out the photographers to take pictures of the location. We do all the marketing ourselves. We make the flyers in-house. We do all the promotions in-house. I mean, me and him and a couple other people, we're walking around FAU and anywhere that there's like high foot traffic, just handing out flyers.
Right.
You know, so it's like they pay for the service of having us come through. You know?
Okay.
So that's what we've been lucky for. We haven't gotten to the point yet where we're looking to put the deposit yet on a location, but we've been lucky to work with a lot of like local spots, and that's how we've been doing it.
Okay, that's actually pretty good. And I forgot to ask you guys, on these shows, like, is this like restricted to 21 plus, or is that 18 plus? Like, what's the age when you go into these shows?
So it's really just like dependent on the place that we're working with, because a lot of these places, like for example, like where we throw our like home base for our dubstep and rhythm shows in Boca, that guy is really specific on 21 plus. Like, but that's because the Boca area got raided a year ago, and they got raided for underage drinking. So he's very strict on that. Yeah, like a bunch of people got arrested. But now he likes it 21 plus, so it has to be 21. Where we're doing like our hookah show, like where we're at these hookah places for our house shows, we tend to do that at like 18 plus for people, because hookah you can smoke at 18. So
right,
they're a little bit more lax with the age. Yeah.
And how do you guys control, for any of these 18-year-olds to be drinking? Like, how do you control that?
Wristbands.
Yeah, we wristband everybody when they come in. We have bands that are like designated for those that are over 21, and then for the under 21s, we end up either marking their hand or we put a different color wristband. So.
Okay, perfect. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, guys. I was actually gonna ask you because I remember we used to do that a lot in Heart and Space. Like we always put 18 plus, but we made sure that every 21-year-old they get a wristband. Anyone who doesn't have a wristband, that we identify that as underage. So that's how that's how you can tell, like, oh yeah, I can't serve you because you don't have your wristband, and it's a specific color wristband. You can't get the same wristband,
Yeah, exactly. It's that way you clean up and don't have any headaches from it.
Yeah. And have you ever encountered any problems when it comes to these teenagers trying to drink or get passed out or wasted or shit like that?
I mean, yeah, I would say it's honestly, but we're like in a college town. I mean, Boca's like FAU, from where we throw our bass shows. FAU's like 2 minutes away. So like, yeah, I've seen some craziness. Some people passed out in the bathrooms every, once in a while, but it tends to be the younger people that do it. So that's why we like to keep our shows 21 plus, so it's like it eliminates kind of like that headache of having people like over drinking or throwing up on the floor, getting dragged out by their friends, you know.
And I think the type of music has a lot to do with that, because people who are there to experience the music and the whole scene for what it is aren't there to get drunk and trashed. You know, it's like a different demographic.
Right.
Yeah, it tends to be like those people that go to like our shows, like they love the music, like they love the atmosphere, they love the scene, so they tend to like want to stay, and they'll drink, of course, but they don't get like hammered. Like these like people that, you know, realistically, you're 18, you go to a bar, you're gonna get hammered regardless of what's going on. You know, they just love to get fucked up. You know. So I feel like that's like the big difference with our shows, is like our demographic is a little bit different.
That's good. That's good that you guys at least have some sort of control out of it, because it's not easy, you know, and because there's always somehow, some way, someone's gonna get drunk because they're underage. It always happens. Like it's stuff that's out of our hands at that point, you know.
Yeah.
So I commend you guys to actually doing this the right way and the way that how it should. And I'm surprised. I'm actually very surprised that there's a lot of 21-year-old people who listen to dubstep, you know, and they're inclining to listening to bass music.
It's definitely a growing industry. Over the past maybe 2 or 3 years, I've seen it just in our area. It's exploded with popularity.
Yeah, I could say like when I was in high school, I remember like I was the weird kid out of the group because I was the one going to like festivals and listening to like Bass Nectar and, you know, whoever else was at the time that was blowing up, you know, Skrillex and everyone else. Everyone was like, oh, you're a weirdo because you like that music. And now I see all those same people and they're over here raving and they're into like Excision and Sullivan King. You're like, all right.
Yeah, it's getting way more.
It's come in circles.
It's getting way more prevalent for sure.
Am I the weird one now? Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Am I the weird one? I remember what you said to me, okay?
That's how it's crazy just how things go. But I think that's the thing though. Like now it's like that boom where I like I've said to him before, it's like we're like in the modern day hippie era. We're like at that point, I feel like. It's
elaborate more about that.
Yeah, I feel like we're, you know, you think about like the 70s, you know what I mean? Like back then, you know, like 60s and 70s, yeah, like Woodstock, all these massive festivals. And there was like a culture there, you know, you hear like that 70s culture, like it was about like experimentation, love, that unity. And I feel like nowadays we're like at that point as well. Like if you see people, we're like modern day hippies. We go to camping festivals. You see people, they spend 3-4 days at a camping festival. They listen to music that's different. It's all about self-expression, being open. It's like we're in that time period again, and it's like that's what it is about. And that's the beauty of it, is being that open, that individuality that you have with the music that you get from being in the music scene and being around people that are like-minded like that.
Yeah, of course.
That's actually really good. That's actually a good point. It's just the fitness. I'm in my 30s right now, you know, and I can say like I started listening to EDM by the time I was in my sophomore year. That's like Jesus, like almost 15 years or something like that. Yeah, that's when I started listening to Tiesto back in Tiesto days in trance. When Tiesto was in his trance phase and shit, that's when I started listening to EDM. From Tiesto to Armin to Ferry Corsten to Paul Van Dyke, Paul Oakenfold. And then I got into Deadmau5, and then from Deadmau5 to David Guetta. And from there, I got into, you know, everything else into bass. And then obviously Skrillex pop around out of nowhere. And from Skrillex, I started to listen to Skrillex and Zomboy and Excision at that old days, you know, which is wild back then, you know. And over the years, I don't know if it's because of me growing up, but I'm starting to see like a lot of people that used to listen a lot about that style of music from my age group, like they gave up listening to it halfway around, you know, and I'm probably like one of the few selected that have still continue on with listening to this style of music or still be part of this style of music, you know. So it's very interesting that when you guys are saying like, you know, it's becoming that little modern age hippie area, you know, because I don't see it much in my age group. Like if you look at the target demographic of my age group, you will see that it's like a 10%, you know, versus you guys. Like you guys are probably what, in your mid-20s?
Yeah, I'm 23.
22.
So you're before your midterm. So you're in your early 20s. You guys and you guys are saying like there's a lot more of EDM around your age.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like a whole 100% or guaranteed 90% that there's like a lot of people that listen to EDM.
Oh yeah, I put money on it. That like if you pick out of 10 people that are in my demographic, I bet you 6 to 7 of them would say they like some form of EDM, whether it's house or dubstep or rhythm.
And it's a beautiful thing because it's bringing people together, you know, like people show up for the music. It's something that people can, they can like have in common, you know, it's all about building that community.
I think that's why it's blowing up so much, like with our demographic, like as young people, you know, like young people are always looking to find like that form of self-expression and that openness. And I remember even my first festival I ever went to, I went to Life in Color at 18 years old. Never forget it. My first event I ever went to, Big Sean was playing. I went basically for him. I wasn't even to raving at the time like that.
Wait, Life in Color?
Yeah, it was Life in Color. It was back when they had it over at the near the stadium.
Oh shit, 2015 Life in Color?
Oh,
the one,
yeah.
Jack Yu was the headliner, Big Sean, and then shit.
That was my first event I ever went to. I was freshly into the scene. I actually got convinced to go because they were like, yo, let's go see Big Sean. And I remember like after that point, it was just like I got introduced to all the sounds, all like the different experiences, and fell in love with the scene. It was it was the openness. I was there and I saw people just like dress however they want to dress, and no one batted an eye, no one said anything questioned. That people were pushing like what's normal to, you know, dress like or act like at a festival. And it was just, I think that's why people like it. They have such an appeal to it. It's because you're free there.
It's all love.
Yeah, it's all love. Just the respect, you know?
Wow, that's actually pretty dope because it so happened that Live in Color 2015 happens to be my first festival perform as a DJ.
Wow.
Holy shit, no way.
That was awesome. My first festival overall in my entire career life, you know, that I've ever performed as a DJ, you know. Before I performed that cinema, which happens to be my first one too. I opened up for Yellow Claw and then I did Life in Color. And then after Life in Color, I've done basically every other festival you can think of in Florida. Like I haven't done EDC Orlando. That's the one one of these days I'll do it, you know. But SMF, I've done, you know, fucking Life in Color again twice, after parties, all of the South Florida shows, you know, when it comes to cinema or space or hard, like when there's a bass show there, Wynwood part of it. And I did in my hometown in Puerto Rico, we did like a huge sold out festival called Dreamland, which like the headliners were just like stupid heavy hitters. Like you got between Incision and Zomboy as your main headliners, plus Firebeats and Jay Hardaway and Megalodon and Coon. They're in bitch and Firebeats. Wow. Yeah, no, it was a sick festival. So it's like I've probably touched all these other Florida festivals, you know. And it all started with Life in Color, man. It all started with Life in Color. In fact, I'll tell you how it all started. I was in that little shitty ass stage that wasn't even built properly. In fact, there was no stage. There was supposed to be 4 stages. There was like the main stage, the second main stage, that's where you put all your bass heavy hitters. Then you got I call it the hippie stage because that's where all these people go, you know, doing their own artsy fartsy shit and put fires and shit and play some house music on it. It was like in a dome. And then there was supposed to be the local stage. What happened is that when all the locals arrived, there was no local stage. That was already a shit show right there from the start. I was like, no, I'm playing today one way or another. I'm playing like no fucking way. Yeah, no, there's no chance in hell that I'm not gonna be playing today, especially when my boy Ricky was there and it was his first time going to these festivals, and that's when he sent me his early projects as Nitty Gritty back then. That's where I was like, nah, bro, I kid you not. I somehow moved mountains, heaven on earth. And I talked to one of the main people from Life in Color. I think it was Paul Reed and Hope at the time. And they somehow pull something out of their asses. It's just like, hey, here's like a stage. Here's like a white table. Here's the speakers. Go nuts.
That's awesome.
So basically, like, oh shit, all right, not to mention that everything got pushed back because there was no stage and we had to build it on ourselves. We all did a 30 fucking minute set because we want to share with everybody. We don't want to like leave everybody empty handed. So that was my weirdest experience as my first time as a DJ performing at a festival. But I gotta say, that was just the one I'll never forget. It was my first and only one. So it's very cool that you mentioned that your first time as a festival was Live in Color and I was there. We probably crossed paths and we didn't even know it.
Probably. I was a newbie at that time, freshly into the scene. Still with the wearing the kandi and everything else at the time. So
you guys,
I feel like that's everybody progression though. You start off, like as a kandi kid, and then you move over to like the bass scene and where everything starts getting darker.
Yeah. You guys still do your little kandi things?
I'll trade if someone wants to trade a kandi. I won't make them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got into the candies, but people will always make candies for me, and I'm like, dope. Thank you guys. Like, I appreciate this.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool thing.
I just don't have time anymore to make them.
Yeah, no, like I'm pretty sure if I make candies, I'll probably burn my apartment. So yeah, I'm gonna safe to say I'm not gonna even bother trying. So now we're gonna shift a little bit to the vendor side of things. Now, when it comes, you say you haven't put any deposits or secure any locations. It just happened to be word of mouth with these people, and they just like, yeah, let's split events with all the profits and whatnot, and we'll use the space, right? Now, as a vendor, like, what are the stuff that you guys utilize to sell these tickets? Because I know a lot of people just sell like the regular paper tickets. Or are we now in the new future in which now we just use our phones to show our tickets?
I mean, like, yeah, I would say like Eventbrite. I mean, like Eventbrite is like huge. Like we scan a lot of tickets like from phones. But a lot of people just end up coming to door for most of these events, or like we'll sell it out with like wristbands with our promoters that we use.
Mm-hmm.
And so either one of those. I mean, but yeah, huge on like Eventbrites. People always come in with their phones, like with tickets ready to show.
So there's not that. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. I was just saying, like, it's like the online sphere is like huge though. Like a lot of our marketing is online.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of our flyers and our promotions and stuff. So we do get a lot of traffic off of Eventbrite.
So there's not actually like you oh my God, I just had the question and it just ran away. I'm so sorry, guys.
No
worries.
Fucking A. So I had a long day at work. So, right now my brain's a little bit fried but
no worries. I feel that.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm about to say is like, so there's not an actual way for you guys to sell tickets now through online. Everything usually goes through the doors, right? So it's like the most effective you guys ever done through the doors. Have you ever encountered anyone who happens to somehow scalp your tickets?
Can you explain? Like, what do you mean scalp?
Like, do you know the definition of a scalping?
No,
I don't. Not familiar.
So basically, you don't know what's a scalper either, right? So a scalper is basically some guy. The best definition is somebody managed to sell fake tickets out of your show, and they're selling it to these kids, and then these kids will just like go to the venue and be like, "Oh, you can't go in," and we're like, "Why not?" Like, I got the tickets. So I'm like, "Yeah, but the scan is not working. Like, it seems like it's a fake ticket."
Luckily, we haven't had any of that like happen at our shows just yet.
Mm-hmm.
We always change the bands and everything else that we use for door entry for every single show, so they're never going to be the same colors or the same like patterns for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then for our online tickets, we have an online scanner, so we haven't had anyone do that just yet. Knock on wood. Hopefully, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
To us, where I have to tell somebody, "Hey, you can't come in because you got the wrong tickets." But we'll probably work with those people to help them out.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good, because I know I've encountered a lot of times in which people, like, when I'm scanning their tickets, is like valid, and then when I take a look at the tickets and I take a look of other people's tickets, like you somehow find a distinct difference. Like, it could be like,
I've had people like screenshot like Eventbrites and stuff and like send us like used already tickets. I mean, that's happened.
Yeah. That's another form of scalping, yeah, because basically they just screenshot it and then the senator is like, here's my ticket, see?
Yeah, that's happened to our shows. Like some big shows, like when we tend to do like some bigger shows, we'll have people like come in with a ticket that's already been scanned, and then I'll see like 3 of them or 4 of them with the same fucking ticket, you know?
And you just like tell them like, nah, B, sorry.
Yeah,
It's trying to be slick. Yeah.
It's like, nah, but it's right here. Like, nah, B, like, you can't fool me. Sorry.
Tough shit. Sorry.
Sorry. So when it comes to now the vending side, like you guys say that you guys split 10% with the bar. So whatever the bar gets, that now you guys get a 10% out of that cut.
Yes. So that's how we tend to do it with a lot of the venues that we work with. We say, okay, we want a 10% cut of whatever, you know, you guys sell for drink wise. We don't take food is whatever, but for the drinks at least, I think that's like an even trade-off. A lot of the places that we go to, you know, are like failing businesses or they're on the verge. So we go and we tell them, you know, let us host a night. We're going to guarantee you 3 times what you're doing now, 4 times what you're doing now. And then we just want to take a little bit off the top for ourselves just to put back into what we're doing with everything, equipment, artists.
And it's mutually beneficial. And like our home base where we throw like the bass shows and stuff, they were actually kind of going under, and we kind of put them back on the map for like college kids. And now people will go there when they're not even at our shows. So it's cool to kind of bring a small business or a small bar back on the map. You know, it's like a mutual beneficial situation.
That's dope, man. That's actually pretty cool. A smart way to capitalize the moment of an establishment that's not doing good, and you're trying to help them out. And now, you know, that establishment itself becomes well known because of your success. You know.
Yeah.
So
and try not to be greedy. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm about to ask you guys about that whole, you know, percentage wise, because I know you said that you guys get percentage out of the door and 10% of the bar. What is it, this percentage wise, that the venue gets for themselves? Because I'm pretty sure the venue gets like a huge chunk out of it, if I'm not mistaken.
So the blessed thing, at least that we've been able to encounter with our like with the past places that we've worked with, they've just been willing to like work with us in the sense that we collect everything at door. We don't split any charges with anyone other than just me and him putting it back into the business, the money that we get at the door, and then the 10% that we get from the bar sales, that comes to us. So they keep 90% of their, you know, they keep 90% of their drinks and 100% of their food and whatever else they sell. And then when it comes to our vendors that we have that come in and sell these small little shops, we charge them a $30 vending to set up their shop for the night and sell.
Okay. So you said you charge them $30 vending fee. Now, do you guys keep something from what they sell, or they keep their own shit they sell? They just pay the $30 fee for them.
Yeah, just a flat rate of $30,
and that's it. And then they sell all the stuff for them and keep them to themselves. Okay, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are just small businesses. Like himself, he has a small like crystal shop. That's actually how we started working together and like, building this. It's like he has a small crystal shop. I don't like, as a business, I need to be sustainable, but I don't need to be greedy. And that's like a big thing that people have problems with, is they want the whole pot or they want the whole pie when you can't eat the whole pie. Like I don't want to put pricing or fees or say this and that and have them working like crazy and they don't make anything for the night, or they're, you know, they're hurt by the pricing that I make. Everyone's supposed to eat. This is an industry where realistically we should all be able to eat off the table.
Yes.
All have a slice, you know?
Yes, I agree. And like something that we talked earlier, you know, a lot of people around here like to have that sort of competition instead of, you know, working together, because, hey, we're all trying to get the same food, you know, we're all trying to eat here together, man. There's literally enough for everybody to eat, you know, literally nobody's going to starve to death, you know, you're going to starve to death because you become very selfish and decided to keep everything to yourself. And that's what's going to lead down to your downfall when you do shit like that, you know? So have you ever encountered anybody that has been like that on your past shows or whatnot?
When it comes to like greedy, I mean, all the artists that we've worked with have been, you know, pretty good about like pricing and everything. I mean, I've had a kid, you know, ask for me to pay him like some, you know, he doesn't even, not well known, didn't play like anything like major, but was telling me he would do a show for 400, and I've never seen him play a single show or anything. Yeah, I was like, oh, all right. I mean, good on you, bud. But like, nobody with like any type of like name or anything. I mean, just like some smaller guy playing some small like college like bar open platform type of night.
Right.
So I mean, that's the only greedy that I've ever had like in contact with. Everybody else is really cool and reasonable, and they work with us and we work with them on pricings for bookings and stuff.
And we're blessed in that way. You know, it's usually not like that.
I agree. I agree because I see that a lot more in South Florida and more likely in the Miami area. I see that a lot more, you know.
I think it's house artists that tend to be a little bit more on that side. I feel like dubstep artists, you know, they're a little bit more reasonable, I feel like, when it comes to trying to book them. And then house artists are like, yeah.
You know what?
They'll charge you an arm and a leg.
It's funny that you say that because now that I look back, it was a lot of house artists who were like that. When I was coming up, there was probably like one or two dubstep people who were about that. And then the rest of them were just like bass guys, like at that time, trap heads, you know? A lot of the trap heads, yeah. But not that many. It's like you guys said, not that many dubstep people were like that, you know. But I have met like the one or two rotten apples that, you know, they've become this self-entitled people, which you're only as good as your local scene, but you're not good outside of it, you know. And they decided like, no, I got every right to be paid this much. I got every right to be here. I got every right to have my name bigger than yours. I'm like, man. Calm your titties, bro.
Yeah, for real.
Calm down.
Calm down, bro. I can drop names, but I'll tell you guys later that. Yeah, it's very low, but I have seen a lot of people in the bass community, especially more in the trap scene, you know, that were about that stuff. And, you know, it's like, unfortunately, like, where are they now?
Yeah, seriously.
That's true, yeah. I just feel like bass artists and like dubstep artists, you know, anybody like in the experimental scene too, I feel like they're way more willing to work with people because it's harder.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like especially with style of music, it's so hard to get gigs and to like play and to like be able to do that. You know, I feel like where it's house, Miami loves house. It's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
You know, so it's easy for them to go to any type of place and just play. So I feel like that's kind of a factor too when it comes to lot of like the difference.
I agree because as I remember, like you said, Miami is known to be a house place. You know, that's what's all about. That's what everybody loves. They love house people. So for a community like the bass community itself, it's very hard to come out or pull out or, you know, it's get yourself out known. So, you know, I agree that I've worked with many bass players around the scene at that time, you know, because we all want to share, you know, we all want to like, yo, like, I want to come out just as much as you do. Like, let's just work together. Let's just do something, you know, because if not, it's going to be like you get to play, but you don't. And all these house cats are going to be playing more than us, you know, and everybody's going to see them more than us. So it's like, what's the best way to do it? It's like if we work together.
Collaboration. Yeah. It's like, that's the key to everything. Just being good with people, working with people that are good. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, especially with music, if you're a good artist and you have a friend that's a good artist and you guys can make a music, why not do a feature together or go back to back for a show? You know what I mean? It's I agree. Exactly. You both grab the exposure.
I agree. One of my funnest times, one of my highest highlights of my life was doing there were two back-to-backs that I will never forget in my life. The first one happens to be a 4 back-to-back 4-way type shit. That was like in that sold out festival that I performed back in my home in Puerto Rico. And we were at prime time. It was just me and my 3 homies. And we were just going back to back, just like putting banger after banger after banger after banger after banger. And the cool thing about our dynamic is that, first of all, we've never done a back to back with all 4 of us together. Second of all, the chemistry was insane. Third of all, each of us were a different genre. I was mostly all about dubstep. My other 2 homies, who happens to be DNA, they were all about Mumba and Jersey. And then our other homie, Chavalo, shout out to him, he was more about trap and a little bit of dubstep here and there, but mostly trap and Mumba. So we basically had like 4 or 5 different genres all together in that one set, and every set it was just like one track after another to another to another to another. It was just like insane, and I wish we could have record the audio version of that, man, because I would love to hear that shit every day if I must, you know. But there's like clips of it in my Instagram. Like if you guys scroll down all the way to 2016, around there, you're gonna see the clips in which it just went bananas, you know.
Wow.
And the second time, which is super memorable, was when I did back to back with Nitty Gritty. Shout out to my boy. When we opened up for Adventure Club for Wynwood Fear Factory.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so we opened up for Adventure Club because I remember that was the first time in which Nitty was about to play his first show, and it was his first festival, and it was in Fear Factory. And they gave him the opener slide, you know. Everybody's gotta start somewhere. So his manager was trying to find a way in which they can put him to play in the after party. And I told the manager, Enrique, is like, where you guys are planning to play it? It's like, oh, we're planning to play in the locals. I was like, nah, bro, come over to my stage. I'm literally open up for Adventure Club. Adventure Club just recently played one of my songs in Lollapalooza. Like, come do a nasty back-to-back with me for Adventure Club. Like, let's just go nuts.
That's awesome.
And after that, we were just like magic. I don't know what the hell happened that night, because for show, we played so many genres in the bass area that we were just looking at each other and we were just like literally competing. We were like, oh, okay, you played this? All right, got you. I'll play this. And I'll be like, oh, just like that? I got you. And we were just like going nuts until they tell us like, hey, you got to put your last song. I was like, already? We just started this shit.
Wow.
So I say, like, you know, working with set bass players and bass producers has been one of the funnest times I ever had in my life as a DJ in these festivals. So I do highly recommend, guys, like if you ever guys want to do back-to-backs, do it, guys. Do it. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. Especially if you're homies with some of these guys, you know, like why not? You guys benefit. Like you guys said, you guys are benefiting from each other because people will know it's like, holy shit, it's from this guy and this guy, you know?
And your chemistry is always unmatched when you're like friends with your artist that you're throwing down with.
Exactly. So, but that was my time when I was a DJ / promoter. Now I don't do that anymore. I don't like being a promoter anymore. I feel like, you know, promotion at that time, I was kind of hungry when I was doing that because I had nothing. I basically like didn't know anybody here in South Florida. So the only way for me to get my name out there, I have to be a promoter and a DJ. So I had to grind my ass off and work extremely over 300 hours of just street promo just to get my name out there and just to get to promote the shows and shit and whatnot. But in my come-ups, I see a lot of people who claims to be that they're, you know, artists, but they're actually promoters. You know, they haven't touched one single session in their Ableton's or Fruity Loop session, and they just like happen to like being a DJ for the fame and glory. You know, have you ever ever encountered such people like that in your shows?
Actually, I have a funny story. One of the people that we had, it was our beginning. It was like the second show, I think, or third show we ever done. I got in contact with this guy. I'm not going to name names, but came up to me, said he had an app, would love to come and perform for our show. He's really hyping himself up. So sent me over a couple mixes. I listened to them. They were good. I was like, all right, perfect. You know, I like your style of music. Come, you can come play and we'll make something happen. Perfect. I gave him a good time slot. He had an app. He did a little bit of promotion. So I was expecting, you know, this guy's going to come in there and tear it up. I'm sitting there listening and I'm like, all right, it's good. He had two cups in his hand. He was drinking while on stage, right? Drinking, getting on the mic, talking. Got 2 cups in his hand again, kept talking, put it down. And then one of my friends who's an artist too, Ashes, shout out to Ashes, he comes over and he goes, hey man, is this guy like mixing or what is he doing? Is he just talking on the mic or is he just drinking? So I go behind him and I'm like looking at the panels, you know, how you have on the CDJs, you have like both sides, it tells the music running. I look over and he's playing a fucking mix from SoundCloud. not mixing or anything, just playing with the sounds in the center, not even doing anything, just talking on the mic. Kick them out so fast.
Yo, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was an instant, yo, you're done. I'm sorry, buddy. Get off the stage. We got people that actually want to play.
That's hilarious. The audacity.
Literally.
The audacity for you to pull that shit on live. Yo, shout out to that motherfucker for have the biggest cojones in the world to do something like that. Holy fuck, that's hilarious, bro.
It was nuts.
Jesus. You know what? I cannot say that I haven't seen any, because I have, but the worst ones is that I've seen it on bigger artists that we all know. That's the sad part, that I've seen it on artists that are already established out there, you know? So it's actually something very common, and probably this guy thought that was like the most common thing ever to do. So hey, let me just try to be one of the big guys. Hey, I'm a big guy. Yeah, I'm drinking and frinking and thinking and blah blah.
Yeah.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah, it just looks worse when you get caught. You know what I mean?
Let's move on from that topic. Before we do move on, one last thing, guys, because now we acknowledge that these, let's call it, people exist within our communities, you know, and they like to call themselves the artists, you know. Do you believe that these DJ / promoters deserve for them to call themselves artists, like legit artists? Or we're just like, nah, you're just a DJ and promoter. That's it.
I mean, at that point, you're not really, like, if you're just someone that's going to go on there and press the play button, you know, you're not really an artist, you know, like shit. Any average person can go and press a button and just press play, you know, but there's people that really take it to heart. Like, you know, they're out there and they're mixing, they're preparing for their sets. They're finding the combinations of songs that they're going to use, you know, but they're not going to pre-record it, but they're going to know in their head, okay, I know this song matches with this, and we're going to make this and this happen if the vibe is like this. And that's a real artist. Yeah. You know, being able to make the dance floor have movement, depending on the movement that you're going to make it have, you know? And being able to create your own music as well, I think, is a huge factor when you're considering an artist, as opposed to just like a regular, like, a DJ.
You really have to have the music to back you. Yeah. You know, if the music's there and the vibes are there, and you can, you just have to have the music to back you.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool, guys, that, you know, stand by, you know, don't let some of these, you know, scumbags, quote unquote, try to, you know, squeeze or weasel themselves out into your fame, because, you know, that's how they get their popularity. That's how they get, you know, like, the recognition, you know. And it's like, you could have give this to someone who was much more talented than this person. This person is just a glory hog, you know. Is just becoming something that is not part of the community. It's becoming something completely different, and we should never be associated with people like that, because, you know, that's what ruins the whole thing, you know. So I commend you guys.
They give a bad image, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot of the artists that are really, like, working hard on it.
I agree. Now, let me ask you guys, because I want to know, how has the industry has ever treated you guys when you guys started out to do this journey that you guys are doing with your company? You know, has it been a lot of hardships, a lot of obstacles? Has there been like ups and downs? Like, tell me a little bit more about how has that ever affected any of this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there's been some ups and downs, you know. Not every show is going to be a great show, you know. And there's, like, a lot of the times, especially in this industry I'm playing, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. People will tell you one thing, and then you get told another thing where it never happens, or usually they just disappear, you know. So I feel like that's, like, the big thing with, like, this industry. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. People are going to always promise you things, or promise this, or tell you this, and then when time comes, where are they, you know? So I think that's, like, the big thing that, like, I feel like that this has taught us, especially. It's just like, words are words. Let's see action, you know?
Yeah.
Talk to talk and walk the walk.
I would agree. Yeah.
That's pretty good, guys, because that's something that I always want to let the whole world know about. It's like, guys, like, there's a lot of sharks out here, you know, and you gotta be careful which shark to trust, you know. It's unfortunate we have to endure it, especially in this style of industry, you know, but it is what it is, you know. And it's very hard to trust somebody, you know. Let's put it out that it's very hard to trust somebody, and because one minute you see this certain person do certain things, and the next day they do something completely left field, and you'll be like, oh shit, that's how you are? That's how you move
Yeah.
things? Then that's what's
100%.
up. I thought that we were like that, but all right, bet. Man, I got betrayed, backstabbed, like you have no idea. Not putting out names out there because they haven't done anything to me up to now, and I'm not starting to do another beef. I'm too old to do beefs, man. What are your thoughts when you have people that are like literally beefing with either with you guys or beefing with your artists? You know, what do you stand on that?
Well, like with beefs with us, at least we're luckily we don't have any beefs just yet with us. I mean, there's situations where people aren't happy about set times and things, but we don't have any beefs along those lines. When it comes to artists, though, at least my recommendation is no beef is that important. But you know what they say, any type of exposure is exposure. So there's two sides of things. You could play it off for the exposure how you want it, but it's also part of your image. And if you're able to keep your image clean, that's the best thing for you. You don't want to have problems with people in the industry. Yeah,
that's actually a great way to think about it, man. So always I don't agree with the fact that any publicity is good publicity. I think that's very misconstrued for a lot of people, because sure, your name will be out there whether you did something good or bad, but regardless of the status of it, if it's bad, people will definitely remember you and they will shit upon you, and then like
get canceled.
Yeah, you get canceled. In today's world, we got a lot of vulture cultures or a lot of cancel cultures, people and shit. And that in 10 years from now, you did something right now, and 10 years later, you're a better human being and stuff like that. And someone will just dig up some old dote of yours because of the publicity of us, because of something. And now it becomes a shit show, and now everybody wants to cancel you,
Yeah, especially like when I was saying, like with artists, it's better to keep yourself clean and away from that type of stuff. I mean, avoiding all that type of negative press, because eventually, we're in an age of digital media, so it's like everything's gonna come. You can find anything on any social media. Type in something, there it is. So
yeah. And it's kind of shitty that we are living in such a times like that. I say there's pros and cons to this. Like, yes, the pros are that, yes, a lot of people are getting exposed for their wrongdoings and they should be held accountable about it. However, the cons to it is like it's getting out of control because now we're putting in the hands of everyone and everybody can just police everybody. And then now you're living in a way in which we're basically tiptoeing, watching out what I say and what I do, because it can easily get misunderstood right away. You didn't do anything, and all of a sudden you get misunderstood, and somebody will just call you out and tell you some other shit, and people will just be on your ass, man.
I feel like people are looking for something that they can have problems with nowadays. They're looking for the next thing that they can cancel, or they can like just talk about on their Twitter or on their Facebook or whatever, just to like shit on.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that we have to be living in such a society because it also affects the artists, even the up and coming artists, because like I said earlier, we all made mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes that I've done. Nothing that's gone that south seriously that I wish nobody can dig up any dirt out of me. Not any of that. I have to say this stuff now because, people can misinterpret, and then that misinterpret can go now dig on some old shit, and it's like, oh, but you said this, and now we're canceling you. And it's like, oh, shit. So, yeah, I got to put those little disclaimers out there so people will not come through my throat, even though people are still going to come to my throat because I basically expose a lot of truths in the industry that many people will wish they can never be revealed, and I'm basically revealing that. I mean, the biggest revelation I've ever done that's connected to you guys in a way, like I find out that said artists who you probably have heard of them back in my time, they basically were horrible at music production. So they had a ghost producer, and this ghost producer happens to be one of my closest friends. Like, he's big in the industry, and this duo, they were horrible until he came in, and then he started making their music better and better. But the fact is that their manager need to pull them, like put them up a map. They need to put them up, because if not, he's spending a lot of money on the ghost producer to produce music that's not giving any revenues back, not getting their investment back. So what he does, they go to Insomniac and they basically telling Insomniac, we're paying you like 20 G's to put these guys into one of your slots in EDC Vegas.
Wow.
And before you know it, they say like, we're giving you 20 G's to put these guys in one of the slots in EDC Vegas. And in return, you guys get a percentage of the revenues for every Nets booking or so. Something like that. And then they blow up because they played in EDC Vegas.
Just like that. Wow.
Just like that. They played in EDC Vegas. And this guy basically, the manager, basically put one of the producers into a producing school so he can learn how to make music. All of that, the investment is now he gains the investment back. A lot of people, when there's money around, when there's money involved, a lot of people pay their slots for their careers, unfortunately. So I'm asking you guys, have you ever had an encounter in which somebody has paid you guys for them to play on a slot? Or have you heard such a thing?
I mean, I haven't. I didn't even know that was like a thing like that people paid for their slots like that. I mean, we've never had that happen to our shows. But I can imagine how that's like awful for the industry, though. You have people that are just like plants. I mean, it's like not even the real talent.
That is true. Yeah. And believe it or not, that goes a lot more than you think. And I was shocked when I heard about this. I was completely shocked, and I was completely like, what the fuck? Because I thought, this whole thing is all based on your talent. Your talent as a producer, as an engineer, as a DJ, as a social media guru crap, it all comes down to that. I didn't know that you don't have to be talent for you to actually be the biggest shit ever. Yeah. I didn't know that. So stuff like that I know. And people will assume me like, you don't know nothing. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, oh, but I do. In fact, the few years that I've been working in this industry, I've gained so much knowledge, more than people can ever imagine, that people can get shocked by the things that I said in this podcast, So something for you guys to know, that this is some of the secrets that I know about how the industry really works and how certain festival companies work. It's like, if you're willing to put down the money, like, hey, here's a couple of G's, please put my artist there. Because obviously you put those couple of G's, and if it blows up, you get that money back. Get that money back because how many times you book your artist from that said company, you get paid. You get a percentage out of it from your artist, obviously.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, stuff like that does happen. And wow. I am not surprised that it does happen here in South Florida too. It does happen to any of the shows and even in the big festival shows, even at some of the shows that I've performed back in Space Days and Heart Nightclub, I've heard stories here and there from people who are very up there, who have been told to me, is like, oh yeah, this person like pay his slot. And I'm like, really? Pay his like,
that blows my mind.
$500 for his slot. He's a local, mind you. Well, he was a local. These guys were locals. Now I don't even know where they are right now. They're not even like, they disappear. But it's don't you think that's like insane that you're paying you're paying for you to perform? Like, that's something.
But how long can that last? I mean, like, how long can you keep that shtick up before it becomes like, what do you have? Like, you're not paying any, like, you're paying for you to be up there. You don't really deserve it. So it's not going to last for however long you expect. I mean, you got to build like the fandom, doing it like organic. Everything's about organic growth.
Exactly. No, because it's easier for them to pay up and be there right now. They want the things right here, right now. They don't want to pull the hard work. They'd rather pay other people to do the hard work for them.
Yeah.
And that's everything in life is about the grind. I mean, it comes down to anything you do, any passion, any idea, anything. It's all about, do you have the grind to do it? If you're not willing to do the grind, you don't deserve to have any of the rewards that come with it.
Exactly.
I agree, bro. I agree, man. And And people may say like, "Oh, watch out, Wolfson is talking shit. Oh, Wolfson is a conspiracy theorist. You know? Oh my god, Wolfson's
Speaking the truth.
Wolfson's talking nonsense." It's like, I bet. You know what? Tell you what. You don't believe me? Hold on. Let me ask the guest people that come over to my show and ask those same questions. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Most of the time, all my guests, they tell me the same truths, the same questions that I've been preaching about in my shows, and they'd say it like it is. And I'm like, what can I tell you guys? Like, don't take it from me, take it from them. They're telling you this is the type of shit that we see on a daily basis. Sometimes we're just oblivious about it, but yeah, it does happen. And it sucks because, again, we're taking away those opportunities for people who really have the talent and deserves the spotlight more than these guys, more these fake people, you know?
100%. Yeah, I mean, it's like if you are really passionate about it, you don't deserve someone that's just gonna pay their way in front of you. You know, like
literally,
there's like a hierarchy for everything. You know, you start off doing these underground shows where you're just, it's just your local friends coming out, and then you work your way up through the scene. You know,
yeah.
You promote, and the promoting, you get your first opening slot. No one's even in the venue for your opening slot, but you do it because it's part of the grind. You know, it's like if you skip all those steps, you're not deserving of having an actual career in this industry. You know,
I agree.
Very true.
I agree, guys. But that's one of those dark story times I've tell once in a while with my guests to let them know how shitty the industry really is and how we need to stick up for each other and look out for each other because of people like this are always lurking around, guys, and we just have to like keep an eye on it. We have to be extra vigilant about it because it does happen. Let's just say that here in 5 years from now, the way you guys are moving around with your organization and your event planning just shows, I feel like from here in 5 years, you guys are gonna start building festivals and you guys are gonna be on that festival run circuit, like dominating the South Florida scene,
Appreciate it. And yeah, we'll make you a promise too. Don't worry. We look out for the artists that we work with. We look out for our people. And like I said, it's all about the grind. Like we're doing this, like we're building this company up from the bottom, and we've done that. And it's like, if you're an artist, you deserve to do it. If you deserve to play, if you put the effort, we're not gonna take any money is not the important thing of it. Of course, it makes the world go round, but like the reality is, it's the effort and the work that people put in. That's what matters, and that's what we're based off of.
That's dope, bro. That's dope. And I wanted to commend you guys for continuing to do it and continue with that such regards, because that's the best way for everybody, to rise up together,
Of course.
That's the best way. So now to your organization, we're going to talk more about your stuff now. I'm noticing that you guys have your own personal shop, right? That's your headquarters or such?
So right now we don't have any like physical location that we have. We're currently building our website. Our website's going to launch next week or the week after. We're just tweaking a couple things, but we're going to be coming out with a bunch of different products for the store, like street apparel, accessories, and things like that. We already have a couple pins made. We'll send you over some. So send me over your address. So we'll send them.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Double X over here, man.
Hell yeah. You. So we'll send you over some of the merch that we have coming in too.
Absolutely, send it over. I will always promote any of this stuff, man. Absolutely. If it's for supporting you guys, absolutely. Let's go.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Now, let me ask you guys. So, how do you guys tackle the whole marketing when it comes to doing your shows and selling your merchandise? Well, how do you do this?
So like we normally just for like our flyers and stuff, we make it in house. Normally, I'll design up our flyers, and then we work with a printing company that's like a local based printing shop, and we get all of our flyers made there. They cut us a real good deal. They're like family, so we work with them, and we get like tons of flyers. And then normally what we do is we'll get our like team of promoters or like a couple of our friends, and we'll just tell them, all right, so we're gonna go to FAU, we're gonna go to Lynn, and then we're gonna go drop off all of our flyers at the local smoke shops where you have the high foot traffic. So that's how we do with that. And then for like our products for the shows and stuff, we'll post. So for the coming shows that we have coming on, we'll post the different stores that we have like that are going to be in the event for us. We'll post them in our stories and give people kind of like a notice of what we're going to have. Like this event, we're going to have crystals coming in. We have someone who sells apparel, and we have pins and other accessories in our store as well. So.
And how do you guys tackle in the social media aspect of all of it?
So honestly, we got blocked off of Instagram and Facebook. I don't know how or why. I think they just kind of targeted us because we posted 2 flyers that did pretty good on advertisements, and then all of a sudden we got a message that was like, "Hey, you guys are banned from doing any type of promotions."
Just recently?
Yeah, I would say about maybe like 2 months ago, give or take. I tried to get in contact with people at Facebook, but they're like no one home, I guess.
Right.
So it's like right now it's just been just like people reposting, a lot of just like reposts, and big thing for us is like Radiate, just huge on Radiate, a lot of Radiate promotions. We're on EDM Train, we post a lot on there too. But like so our online marketing is a little bit different. We kind of use like guerrilla tactics almost when it comes to online marketing. Just a lot of like wherever you would go to look up for what you're going to do for the night or for that weekend, we just kind of go there and we post all of our advertisements.
Okay. And have you considered of other social medias besides Facebook and Instagram? Like if you try like the Snapchats, the Twitters, the TikToks, and I don't know whatever.
So yeah, we're coming out with our TikTok soon. That's in the works. We're gonna come out with that. But Twitter, we're also planning on doing soon as well. We're gonna launch that within the next week or so and have the Twitter up. But yeah, we've been looking into getting into that side of things, especially with TikTok now, which is huge.
Yeah, blowing up.
Like that's a huge platform for people.
I agree. And let me tell you, I just downloaded TikTok like a month ago, basically. And I don't have that much following, but all the clips I put up from my podcast for different episodes, I get a range of between 100 to 500 views per clip.
Okay, wow.
And I only have I'm telling you guys, I only have 5-10 followers, less than that.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
I just put, it's because the hashtag algorithm is way better and effective than Instagram and Twitter.
The reach is way more.
Yeah, the reach is out there. So obviously when I'm hashtagging some of this stuff, obviously the first thing I'm hashtagging is hashtag EDM, and then hashtag dubstep, hashtag bass music, hashtag sound designs, hashtag music industry, hashtag this and that, So by doing that hashtag, somehow the algorithm is actually it reaches far, and I got people literally viewing it, and I have nothing but followers. So I highly recommend you guys to get in that TikTok train as well, and start posting shit. Start posting videos or start posting clips or whatever, and let everybody know to redirect yourselves to this website or to this page or whatever it is that you try to market. It works somehow. It works.
People are blowing up on TikTok, man.
Just recently, I gained 2 followers on my YouTube channel from TikTok.
Wow.
And
that's worth it,
yeah. Yeah, no, I thought it was just bull crap, I could care less until one of my buddies told me nah, bro, everybody's blowing up for TikTok. You should get on that train, bro. Definitely, it's gonna benefit you, especially for your podcast, because do the best clips, you upload it, everybody's gonna see it, and then everybody's gonna follow you. I'm like, all right, bet. And got nothing to lose, little to effort, boom. People are just literally seeing my shit every day, bro. I wish I could actually gain money out of that, but that's a different story for another time.
It'll come in time. You have an awesome podcast, so that's gonna come.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. That's what I'm trying to do, little by little, man. I'm trying to take my YouTube channel to reach 100 subscribers so I can finally have my own URL, because all I got is youtube.com/ that's my channel. So that's why. So I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, and then from 100 to reach 1,000, and then let's go on from there on, But
and then the boom will happen.
And then boom will happen, man. Little by little, man. But I'm just trying to find ways to target my audience, target my people, and try to captivate and grab people's attention, and just hey, check this shit out, It ain't easy. It ain't easy. And it's a different monster versus when I was an artist. Because back then when I was an artist, it's very easy. All I had to do is just send flyers with my name on it, with my information, where they can follow me, sell tickets to everybody and shit like that. And boom, I got people already following me on my SoundCloud, Spotify, Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, all that shit. Boom, I got this. It's easy as an artist, but it's not as easy when it comes to a podcast, because a podcast, you need to, people can listen a 3-minute song. Few can listen an hour-long podcast, you know?
Yeah.
Especially in today's world when there's like a lot of young people who are a lot of upcomers who may not be inclined to podcasting right now, and they just want something quick, short, straight to the point. Kind of hard for me to, you know, captivate those people. So I always try to like, all right, let me put just the clips so, you know, it could get them, grab their attention and check it out and see what's up.
Get their foot in the door.
Yeah,
you know?
seriously.
And with the conversations that you had, I watched the one with you guys and you and Dream Takers, the one with you and Goon, and it's like, you know, your guys' conversations, everything, it's captivating. So believe me, I have a big feeling your podcast is gonna blow up.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that support, man. Just little by little. This is what it takes, man. It's what it takes. You just have to grind hard and be consistent about it and nonstop. And take it from me and all my listeners right now. Take it from us. Like, this is part of the process, guys. Like, we have to keep doing this grind mode all the time. You know, we can't let it stop, because as soon as you stop, all that hard work that you put up will just fall down very quickly, man.
Yep. Consistency is key.
Consistency is key. Now, when it takes to doing that, do you guys share a similar fake like mine, that you guys had to be grinding all the time and all the stuff? There are times I couldn't sleep and then I had to do this and that. Like, tell me more about your experience when it comes to that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just like, we're always on the grind. It's like, it doesn't stop. Like, this is like a full-time thing. Like, if you're in this type of industry, it's a full-time thing. Like, for us, it's like, we have to make the flyers. We have to get them printed on time. We have to go on all these social medias and post and make sure that the promotions are going well, and that we're pushing our flyers enough that where we're going to bring heads. It's like, there's no break. It's like, on my breaks, on my days off that I'm not working, I'm over at FAU handing flyers, or I'm at some random like hookah place or a random like smoke shop handing out flyers just to get people to say, okay, let me see it. We do a lot of giveaways too. We give out like stickers and pins, you know, just to try to get that traction. So it never really stops. If you're on the grind, you're on the grind.
That's dope, man. I love hearing that, guys. Now, let me ask you this. This is a topic that I usually talk to a lot of artists, but I've never actually talked about this with set event planners or promoters or festival runners or such events just like you guys, you know? But it's actually pretty good to talk about it. So let me ask you guys, when it comes to mental health, how's your sanity running with all this shindig?
It's stressful at times. You know, there's definitely moments where things need to be done and we need to find the motivation to do it. But my motivation derives from the people who want to come to these shows and are looking forward to the next one. And that's what really gets me going, is the community and them kind of uplifting us. So like, when's the next show? Who's playing? Like, you know, that's what usually gets me going.
And yeah, like with mental health, I mean, mental health is like a huge thing. Like, especially nowadays, it's something that a lot of people are a lot more open with, and I think that's a wonderful thing. Like, these shows can be a lot on your mental health. You know, there's a lot of nights where you're staying up late, putting in the work on making a flyer, or you know, you're trying to figure out what's the right combination of tags and how do I get on these pages, and you're doing 1,000 things at once. It's always important to just relax for a second, take a break, and just mentally picture what you're doing and say it's okay. Even if it's a good event or a bad event, I feel like just like an artist, you can have a great set or a bad set, but regardless, you're going to do it. You're going to get it done, and you just need to take yourself a little bit of time to breathe. Give yourself a little bit of moments of clarity, like meditation or yoga, or even just going outside to walk. You know, taking like a break out of your day to let yourself have that freedom of mind.
Yeah, you definitely need to respect the process and kind of let everything work itself out.
That's good, man. Because I asked this because I know I've asked this a lot to a lot of artists, and you know, I have experience with some homies that, you know, rest in peace, they had to go through their dark times, and they are going through those dark times, and you know, we just have to be out there and letting them know it's like, hey, we love you guys.
Yeah, support and love to everybody.
But it never occurred to me to ask this to a festival or promoter or such, because like, we get a lot of stress on certain things when it comes to music or people or such, But you guys actually have a different ball game because you guys have like a show to run and you guys have to make everything all perfect. And in your perfect mind, everything has to be perfect. Everything has to go smooth. And you know, we had to get deadlines here and there. Contact with this is like I can never imagine all those hardships, that all the stuff that has to go through your heads to think of all this shit and not feel like not stressed at all. Like how and yeah, like I don't know how you guys even take breaks out of it. You know, it's very hard.
You gotta take like some time and just focus on like what's important. You know, like at the end of the day, your passions are always important. You should put that as a priority. But the people around you in your life are also priorities, and you can never forget that. Like for me, I'm blessed to have a beautiful girlfriend that like I spend a lot of my free time with, and she helps ease the stress of like the grind. I mean, for us, it's a second job, you know, and you have to be able to have that moment to say, okay, I have to separate both my passions and what else is important in my life, and have a balance between both. Because if not, you get drug into the bottom of the hole, and then it's rough. Because even if your show does good and you're stressing, you don't even enjoy it. And if it's bad, it's 10 times worse than if you were to have a clear mind going into it, you know?
I agree, man. And for our listeners, guys, always take care of each other, you know, like take care of your mental health. Like if you feel like you're going through a path that you shouldn't even be going through, like detach yourself for a moment, you know? Go back to your happy place. Like do something that, you know, makes you happy and be passionate about it. Like if you like do jogging, go fucking jog. If you like going play, I don't know, like video games, play video games. If you like watching TV and just chill, watch TV chill. You don't like to go out, go out. Like go back to your happy place, you know, do stuff that makes you happy. Because if you feel very stressed, you feel like it's coming down to you, it's bringing you down, find it in your heart to detach yourself and take a mental break. And it's okay. It's okay to take a break.
Absolutely.
There's nothing
You need
wrong.
it sometimes.
Yeah, you need it sometimes, you know? And just like you, like I have my fiance in which like I lean to her all the time whenever I feel stressed out and pissed off and all the above. When all my emotions are all over it, and I feel like, that she's like my calm to my storm, you know? So,
and it's important to take care of those people that are your number one supporters.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, if they're your number one supporters, they got your back and they're able to work with you. Like, you know, sometimes you may be overstressed and you're thinking it the wrong way. It's good to talk to people, be open with you.
Of course.
You know, because they can tell you something that could change the way that you're looking at or even going at certain things, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And let me tell you guys, like my biggest therapy is podcasting. Either me listening to podcasts or me actually doing my podcast and talk about these issues and talk about it. That's my biggest therapy. That's how I actually like literally take out all the shit that I actually have in here and just like puke it out.
Yeah, that's amazing that you found that.
And it's awesome that you talk about your mental health on your platform.
Yeah, seriously.
That's awesome thing that you do.
Yeah, and I'm very adamant about it. I've spoken about my mental health in my previous episodes before, and you know, I let everybody know. It's like, guys, like I remember I was in a dark time back at a few years ago. You know, I was working at the Cleveland Hotel in South Beach. I was an audio tech for them, and my job was literally on the weekends. Thursdays, Fridays, Saturday, and Sundays. That's my weekends. And I work 12-hour shifts. 5 to 5 or 6 to 6, however you want to put it, you know? And obviously, as a technician, you're basically like setting up all the DJs, you're the artist liaison, you're the dancers liaison, you're setting up the stage pods, you're setting up the lights, you're setting up the speakers, you're setting up the LEDs, you're out there being the LED tech, you're becoming the VJ as well, you know? Sometimes these DJs don't show up and you gotta be out there and perform a little bit just to keep the crowd going and shit. It takes a toll, man. And at the same time, you know, like as back then as a DJ, which are the days that you perform? On the weekends. So it was literally a back and forth with me trying to, you know, call a day off so I can perform at Space or perform at Heart, perform at Cinema, perform at these days. And then the next day I had to come back and do my 12-hour shifts. It was hard for me even to make music overall because I'm just so fried from the entire weekend that I have no urge to make any music. I feel like and especially I put so much pressure into myself on making music that it just make me feel so uncomfortable, made me feel so unhappy. No matter how much I learn, how I try to progress, like I was in a dark place very badly, and if it wasn't for the sanity from my family, for them to reach me out and say like, "Hey, let's just go to the movies. Hey, let's just go to a weekend over here. Let's just go to the beach and stuff." If it wasn't for my family, I honestly don't know where I could have ended up, but I was just like very bad, and luckily like the sun will shine, and it did shine for me, and I moved on. I got a way better job with a way better hourly rate, with a way better 9 to 5 style, and I can still do my thing, and I can still do my podcast. I can still do my music whenever I feel like making music. I still got some projects there that I want to release. There's one project that particular that I want to release next month for Halloween or something like that. I'm very excited for it, and it's like one of like the most original shit I've ever done in my life.
Oh yeah, that's incredible.
Like, kid you not, it's like I've done a lot of original music. This one has been the most original of the originals because there's like the level of commitment I did it. It was just unimaginable. And not only that, it was just I didn't felt any pressure of doing it. I was just like, let me just work on this, just this and that, and holy shit, people fuck with it. I fuck with it a lot. I was like, all right, let's do this.
Oh yeah, it's but you got that out of your balance, right? The balance of your new schedule, and that's like what's important. I feel like a lot of people, especially like something that I know that our generation deals with, like the younger generation, is like a lot of us go to school, we work more than one job or 2 jobs, and then you have your passion that you want to do, and you try to do it, but you get frustrated because you don't have that set balance. You don't have that structure to your living where it makes sense, where you have, okay, I work my 9 to 5, but I have time afterwards to be creative. I have that little break where you can do what that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And you're not burnt out.
And you're not burnt out.
Exactly.
Everyone burns out.
Absolutely. Everybody burns out. I burned out many times. It's the one thing I do say, like, just like what you say, you just have to administer your time and find the right time for you actually do your thing, like whatever it is you're passionate. And if this is a message for all our up and comers and for everybody who's listening to, like, guys, if you have to work on a 9 to 5, because I had to work to pay off my student loans and bills and other shit. So I couldn't done the struggling artist routine. I couldn't, because I will die. Now I don't mean like literally, I mean figuratively, like, like I'll starve to death. I wouldn't have anything to pay my bills. Like my credit will be shut to hell. I guarantee you, it's okay to have a 9 to 5 job and still do your thing. You just have to learn how to administer your time and find the right time for you to do it. One thing that I always tell everybody is like, what I used to do when I used to do a lot of music is that I stay in my office. In my 9 to 5 job, I have my own office, and in my office, from where I work, it will take me like an hour to get to my home. Even though it's a 20-minute drive, it'll take me an hour because of traffic, right? So what I do is very simple. I stay a little bit longer. I stay 1 or 2 hours in the office just writing music. And I do that every day for Monday through Friday, writing music for just 2 hours. That's it. Just do something for 2 hours. That's it. Because once you're done, you can go back home and you're just like chill, and then you'll feel accomplished because you did something.
And you're utilizing that time. If you leave at the time that you're supposed to, you're gonna be stuck regardless for an hour. So now why not use that hour and use it for something beneficial?
Exactly. And as well, it creates like a sort of discipline to yourself.
Yes.
Because now you're disciplining yourself, and it's becoming of a routine every day. You have to do 2 hours of music or something, like it's a must. You have to do it, and it becomes something.
Routines are key.
Yeah,
consistency is key, and that's like with anything in the world. You can't be a pro at anything without trying to be consistent at it, putting in the work.
I agree. I got a few more questions, and we can wrap this up, guys. One of these questions is very simple. Why is it that you guys decide to choose Underground Wubbs as your name for the organization?
So we ended up coming up with Underground Wubbs because like we're part of the underground scene. Even though, like I said, it is blowing up and it is getting bigger, and the sounds are getting bigger. you know, we're still underground. Like the music scene is still underground. It's not mainstream just yet. It's starting to, but it's still an underground scene. And when you think of the underground, you think of like these like really gritty shows where it's like a community of people that go, and they, you know, you think of these underground rave parties from the 90s, and it was like this culture. They used to go to these like raves. You didn't know where it was, and like, but it was like some of the stories you hear from these people that talk about like the 90s and early 2000 raves, they're off the wall and they're underground events, you know? And the Wubbs came from just the fact that like when you refer to dubstep and everything else, it's Wubbs. It's Wubbs music. So we're Underground Wubbs.
Yep.
Wubba dub dub dub. There you go. That's what I like. So what has been up to now your greatest accomplishment?
Oh, that's a good one. Honestly, I would say the best accomplishment is just having like people that are excited for like our shows, and like people that give us like recognition and love. You know, people that will come to our shows. They'll tell us about how much they've spread word about it, or they tell us how much they love the event, or even just like getting the recognition from people on our Instagram when we do things. I think that just makes everything worth it. Honestly, that makes it worth going through the headache of putting a show together and throwing one.
Definitely the fan base.
100%. The community.
Dope. What are you guys are currently doing right now, and what do you guys hope to accomplish by it?
So right now we're just we're right now currently like in the works with a few locations. I won't say anything more than we might have a speakeasy in Miami that we're gonna hopefully get within the next 2 months. We're in talks with them. But yeah, we're thinking about doing that. We've been in contact with a couple of farms to try to throw like an outdoor farm type of festival in the middle of like Loxahatchee and stuff. So we have some things that we have in the works right now. But our goal is to eventually throw a block party and hopefully a festival one day.
I'm looking forward to those, guys. I'm definitely looking forward to it. One last question and we can wrap this up, guys. Let's just say right now a UFO comes out of nowhere and comes to you guys, and a couple of aliens pop out, and the guys say like, yo, guys, we need your help. We need your help because it's only you guys can help us with this. And you guys have to come with us, you know? We don't know how long this is going to take, but you have to come with us. But before you guys go, they're going to give you like a piece of paper, and they tell you write 3 pieces of advice that you'll give to someone. What are those 3 pieces of advice?
All right, I'll say one. I'll have him say one, and then we can discuss the last one. But I'll say the first one. Fuck it. That's the biggest thing ever is fuck it. Nothing in this world is given. You don't have any. You're born in this earth with, realistically, you don't have a path that you're designed to go, right? You make the decision to go in whatever path you decide. Say fuck it and do it. There's nothing that can happen if you say fuck it. You can have all these doubts and everything inside of you if you want to go to a business, DJ, do art, whatever. If you decide to one day you say fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Fuck it, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So that's my one bit of advice. Say fuck it sometimes.
Yeah, my bit of advice kind of goes hand in hand with what you just said, and it's just follow your dreams. You know, if you're passionate about something, you have to stick to it. You have to be consistent, and just don't give up. You know, you have to believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing, and you just gotta kind of see it through. You know, pretty much the same thing.
And then the last thing, and I think it all just brings it all together. It's something that me and my best friend, like, we made up like years ago when I was like freshly in high school. Nothing is ever this easy. And that goes to everything in this world. Nothing is ever easy. And nothing is going to be handed to you on a silver spoon. You have to work and you have to grind for it. Right. So if you're not willing to wake up and get on the grind, it's never going to come to you.
Absolutely.
I agree. Those are actually 3 great ones, man. And I'll add a bonus one, which is, this is like the one that I don't say it trumps all, but it's like the one that you should be following by heart every day on a daily basis when it comes to all this stuff. Be humble.
That too, yeah.
Be humble, because believe it or not, guys, being humble doesn't cost you anything, and it will take you much more farther than you can ever imagine. You have no idea what it is to be humble and be nice to someone. And let's say that you're being nice to someone that's next to you, and a few years later, that same someone remembers you, and then it comes and helps you on your thing.
Exactly.
You never know.
You never know. It always works like that, you know. Believe it or not, it happens. It has happened, and I've seen it happen. Has happened to me. Has happened to some of my homies. Like it's a real thing. Like there's nothing. Doesn't cost you to just be nice and humble, guys. Just humbleness will pay its dues, guys. So
Absolutely.
thank you guys for coming into the show. I
Thank
really
you. Appreciate it.
you have no idea how much this means to me for you guys to come over to the show. And I've learned a lot from you guys and what you guys do. And I'm pretty sure that all my listeners and followers will appreciate you guys telling your side of the story when it comes to making music festivals. So people know, like, hey, we're all human beings, guys. You know, like this is what we do, you know? And I'm pretty
We're glad and we're happy to be a part of it, and thank you for having us on your show. You're an awesome host.
Yes, thank you.
And to all the viewers listening, he's the man. So.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Before we go out, guys, plug yourself out. Let the people know what's the next big thing that's coming up and what it holds in your future, guys.
All right. So September 10th, we have a show with Mark Tech, Underwood, Kevcast, Simplifier at Shisha House in Boca. We're doing specials for any college ravers. We're going to be doing $5 tickets, $10 with if you don't have a college ID, and that's 18 plus. And then we have shows booked up for the rest of the month in October. So just follow us on Instagram at Underground Wubbs.
Yep.
That's what's up, guys. Well, thank you, Underground Wubz. Thank you very much for coming to the show. And thank you guys for listening. And remember, every week is a brand new episode with a brand new topic. So be sure to like and subscribe for your weekly episodes at the Lone Wolv Podcast for SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and of course the YouTube channel at lonewolfpod.com. That's lone, WOLV pod.com. When you can check all my latest episodes all for free, guys. Please help me out. Let's get to 100 subscribers, guys. Let's get to 100 subscribers so we can get our own URL.
Guys.
Yeah, guys.
Do it.
Let's get 100 subscribers at lonewolfpod.com at the YouTube channel. You know, if we get to 100 subscribers, I'll promise you guys, I'll do one random one-to-one feedback session with anyone. It doesn't matter who it is. I'll do a one-to-one feedback session, and I'll give you guys out one of my projects, and you guys can do a remix out of it. Let's just go nuts about it, okay, guys?
Let's go nuts to 100. You heard it here first. Underground Wubbs is saying it to 100 first.
To the first 100. Let's go, guys. And once we get 100, let's reach our goal to 1,000, and we'll have something even better on there. But until then, help me out. Comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts. Share your experiences. If you guys got a specific topic that you want me or you want Underground Wubbs to cover it, please let me know at the comments down below. Okay, guys? So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys at the next one. Deuces.
Peace.